Welcome to the Freedom VMS video tutorial series. In today's video I'm going to show you how to create an EMAP from scratch. Now the things you'll need for this exercise are of course a plan of your building or site, and it has to be in JPEG or bitmap format, which is fairly common, and you also need some sort of image editing program. In this example I'm going to use Microsoft Paint that comes with Windows 7 operating system, so most people will probably have that, but you can use any image editing program you like. Now before we can use the image as an EMAP background, we need to resize it to the size of the resolution of the monitor you're going to use for your EMAPs. Now the way you find out what resolution the monitor is that you're going to use for your EMAPs is you click on the Start menu and you type in desk, D-E-S-K .cpl, and press enter. Now this brings up the display screen resolution window. Now currently there are 3 monitors in my particular setup. The one that we're currently looking at and is highlighted is number 1. Now I want to use number 2, which is to the right of number 1, as the EMAP monitor. So I click on number 2 with the mouse, and this tells me the resolution of that monitor, what it's currently set at, which in this case is 1280 by 1024. So you need to write that down somewhere temporarily. So we can get out of this screen now, just close it, because we just needed to find out what this resolution was. So now that we know the resolution that our image needs to be, we can open Microsoft Paint and resize the image. Now to do that, I'll click on the Start menu and type Paint. Then press Enter. And this opens the Paint program. Now we need to navigate to our image and open it within Paint. And to do that, I can click on the little arrow here, or press Ctrl O, the keyboard shortcut, and click Open, and my image is located on my E drive and it's called Floor Plan. So I'll click on that, then I'll click Open, and this opens it within Paint. Now currently the resolution of this image is displayed down here, which is 2097 by 1114. Now again, the size of the image for EMAPs should be equal or less than the resolution of your EMAP monitor, which we found out before in my case was 1280 by 1024. So I'm now going to resize this image that I've opened in Paint, and to do this it's as easy as clicking the resize button, and I'll change it from percentage to pixels because I know the pixels that I want, and in the horizontal part I'll put 1280, type in, and as we can see it is less than or equal to our the resolution of the EMAP monitor, which is 1280 by 1024. So I'm happy with that. I'll go OK. Now then I'll save the image by clicking on the arrow button here and clicking Save As. Now I'll call it something different. I'll say EMAP on the end of it, and I'll give it a date. Then click Save, and note the location you're saving it to. In my case it's on my E drive. Now that we've groomed our image, the image size, we can now open that image within the EMAPs and start creating EMAPs. Now to get to the EMAP setup in Freedom, you click on the arrow button in the bottom right of the live view display. So you click on there and then you click on the EMAP setup selection. And this opens the map setup window. The map setup window is made up of 3 panes. 3 panes that you can currently see. There is also a third pane, the toolbox pane. Now, starting from the top left, this is the navigation, where you navigate around the EMAP. It gives you a smaller icon view of the actual EMAP, and the EMAP actually is viewed on the right hand side over here, and you can use this top part to navigate around the EMAP because it doesn't fit in the screen. Now below the smaller thumbnail navigation is the where your EMAPs will actually appear. Currently we have none, of course, so it's completely blank. Now to create our first EMAP, we simply right click over on this area here. So we right click with the mouse and select new map, and we give our map a name. Now I'll call this map map A and ground, and in the map title I'll just call it the same thing. Now I want this map to be the first map that starts up when I click on the EMAP icon, so I have to make sure this is ticked, which it is. So that means this map will start up first. Now what we do, we need to browse where our map image is, which is the one we just groomed. So we click on the browse button, and it's already on the E drive, which I happen to have my map on. And this is the map that I groomed, this one here. So I click on there and open, and I see the map there. Now I can close this part of it now, and this is our EMAP. We can see our background there, and that's our map name. It's our first map. I'll just briefly go over the use of the navigator section of map setup. Now as you can see up here in the navigator, there is a small rectangular box, dashed box, a purplish reddish colour. If I click within that box and drag it to the right, in this case, you can see the map on the right move. Because you can't see the entire map on the right hand side, this is how you navigate to a particular area within the map, so you can insert a hyperlink, etc. So yeah, you click and drag within that red dashed border, and that will take you around the map. So if ever you see a group of icons bunched up to the bottom or sides, it's usually an indication that you need to use this navigator to move the map to a different position, so you can see it. Okay, now let's add some cameras on our map. Now to do this, we click on the toolbox icon down the bottom left here. So I'll click on that, and we see the hyperlink icons. In this case we've got the camera and the map hyperlink, which allows you to click to another map if we had more than one map. Now to insert a camera icon, it's as simple as clicking and dragging on this camera icon here and dragging it over to the right hand side, and I'll just drop it around, let's say here. And now the node configuration window comes up. This is where you can select the camera, so we'll select the camera. Now I have a number of devices here, it may be different in your case. So let's say I'll open this by clicking on the plus sign. I'll say this camera here, so I'll highlight it by clicking it and then click OK. Now in my case I don't want to show the title. You can put the title on. It's a description of the camera. this description here if you had that on. I like using it off, but it's up to you whether you want to have that on or not. Now, the next is the type of icon you want to use. Now you can use one of the predefined icons over here, one of the blue camera icons, or the transparent round icon, which is the one in the middle. I'll use this one here, the one pointing to the left. So I click on that, and I'm happy with that, so I'll close, and you'll see there's our camera there. Now if I'm not happy with the position, I can click and drag that to a position I'm happy with. So that's our first camera icon. You can also create your own custom camera icons with freedom. So if you're graphically inclined, you can create many different types of icons, including transparent icons for GIFs, for example. Okay, I'll create another camera icon. So I'll go over here, I'll drop that about here. Again, I'll select the camera. This time I'll choose a different DVR, and I'll say this camera here. So I'll click it and click OK. And this time I might do the up, the camera icon facing up, and close. So then I'll move it to a different position, and that's it. Now if I'm happy with all my camera icons, I've finished with the putting all my icons, I can click on the save button here and then click OK and then close. Now to test and open our emaps, we first have to make sure that no emap window is currently open, otherwise the emaps won't be updated. So close any existing open emaps, which there shouldn't be unless you clicked on the emap icon. Okay, now to test our emaps, we click on the emap icon, which is the globe looking one down here. We click that, and this opens our emap window. And to test that our maps actually work, we can click and drag one of our icons to one of the blank tiles, and you should get a image, and it also turns red, indicating that it's currently streaming. So if I do the same with this blue one here, drag it over there, and that one's working fine as well. Now you can also export an emap to another PC running the Freedom software, but you must remember the device list in the other client PC must be exactly the same as yours, or the one that you've exported the emap from. If it's not, the emap hyperlinks won't work, and then what you have to do in that case is link the hyperlinks to point to the device on your particular computer. So I'll just show you briefly how to export an emap. You simply click on the up arrow and click on emap setup like before, then right click over the emap name that you want to export, and then click on export emap, give it a name. I'll just say emap there, and I'll save it to my E drive, and I'll replace it and click OK. Now let's say I was at another computer and I wanted to import this map. Now for argument's sake I'll just remove this map. Okay, so we've got no maps now. Now to import an emap, I simply right click on this area here and click on import map, and the one that I called it was this one, so I click on the map name, which has a .map extension, click open, and I'll save that. Now what you do now is test that the hyperlinks actually work on this new computer. If they don't, you'll have to go back into emap setup and right click on the camera icons and click on Configure Hyperlink and simply point them to the actual device. The camera's under the particular device again. And click OK and close and save. And that's basically how you export and import an EMAP. And that wraps up this tutorial on creating EMAPs. Thanks for watching.